What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with
Gersh1.
And today we're back to answer your questions in another episode of For the Greater.
This is a video. This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get those questions first. Now, either my lens is really dusty or it's cracked. I can't tell.
Oh wow, yeah. I think it's dust.
Okay. Yeah. So this question comes from C. Burt. He asks, "Is Darth Vader a type of dreadnought?" That's a really good question, and at first glance, yeah, he truly is. What a dreadnought is just a giant life support system.
Right.
You can walk, fight, pretty much exist with this giant sarcophagus. Now, Darth Vader kind of has the same thing with his suit, in that the suit provides his life support and everything, and when he's not in the suit, he has to be in that tube. Right?
Yeah.
That's where the difference is, though. So, while Darth Vader,
Spaceballs.
yeah. While he is a dreadnought when he's fighting, I wouldn't categorize him as a full-fledged Space Marine type of dreadnought, because a Space Marine never leaves a sarcophagus. Once you're entombed into the dreadnought, you're there for life.
Yeah. If you come out, you're dead. Basically, that's what's keeping you alive.
Yeah. Which Darth Vader has that thing that we saw in the latest one, or was it the latest one?
It can't be the latest one, because the latest one is
yeah. No, it's Rogue One. Rogue One, when the thing opens up, it's like a giant Pokeball, basically, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, something like that.
But that's the point. Now, in Warhammer 40K, there is a dreadnought, the Space Wolf dreadnought. What's his name?
Bjorn.
Bjorn the Fell-Handed actually gets placed into his little underground bunker, and he only gets brought out when the Great Feast, I think it's called, and he tells his stories of fighting with Leman Russ and fighting with the Emperor. But that goes to show you, when he's not being used, they basically just shut him off and then put him in a corner.
Yeah.
So not quite the same as a dreadnought, but kind of a dreadnought.
Right.
Good question, though.
Not like that new war suit the Primaris got. That is not a dreadnought.
That's definitely not a dreadnought. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah. It looks very
Alien versus Predator-ish.
Alien / that thing in Avatar, like that.
Oh yeah,
those
I
mech
heard about
suits.
those. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty dumb that they did that, though. Oh well. Next question.
This one is by Hill Bill. Where are all the hive fleets at the very beginning of the 42nd millennium?
So there's 7 major ones, I think. They're all mostly in the Eastern Front, right?
I believe, because that's where the tendrils are coming from.
There is one in particular that I know, Hive Fleet Cornus, that has actually gone into either... It's not the Eye of Terror, it's... It might be one of the new rifts that opened up. So there is a Hive Fleet within the warp. And that Hive Fleet is specializing in killing demons. Mm-hmm. It's pretty neat.
But there's also one in I always forget if it's Octarius or Octavius.
So it's both. So in the lore, I think one codex called it Octarius, and then there was another codex that called it Octavian. And even if you check online, it shows both names.
And that's when they're fighting the orcs.
Yep. I might do a 40 facts on that. 40 facts on all the hive fleets and tell you guys where they are. One's dead. Leviathan is dead, right? Outright?
If it's not, it's severely crippled.
Good question, though. Next one comes from Alex. How many troops from each faction would it take to successfully invade modern-day Earth? So, starting with the Space Marines, 1 Space Marine.
Probably, yeah.
And it sounds crazy, but you have to remember, it's a giant superhuman with amazing charisma. he can take over the planet without even having to fire.
Right. Just the I was gonna say, well, I guess just the threat of like him coming from like the future and all this like intense weaponry, that should be more than enough to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Imperial Guard, just I would say a couple of Death Corps of Krieg regiments would be able to take out most of humanity here on Earth. Because all they need to do is fix their bayonets, and we're very squishy.
So are they.
Well, yeah, but they have... That's why I said regiments. Like,
oh, yeah.
The regiments are in the... I want to say for the Death Corps of Krieg is in the thousands. I'm thinking about it now. Maybe that wouldn't be... I think it would be more, right?
I would assume so, because, I mean, they're just humans with, like, better weaponry. Yeah, they're going to do a lot more damage, but at the same time, like, they're just humans. Well, yeah. Clones.
How many orcs do you think it would take to take over the world?
Well, I mean, orcs, they're not as squishy, but I feel like they'd go down. I think it just takes one. Kill one, spores, and the spores come back. And, yeah.
It's a never-ending cycle.
Yep.
What about NIDS? Well, you kind of have to have the whole hive fleet.
Yeah, one hive fleet is enough.
Yeah.
Even a freaking Gene Stealer cult is more than enough.
Yep, I agree. And then Eldar.
That's tricky.
I don't see the Eldar ever wanting to conquer a planet unless there's a relic on it. But even then, they wouldn't want to conquer it. They would just want to like
take the relic and leave.
Yeah, or protect it somehow, like become. Because that's what the Exodites are, kind of.
Yeah.
And then finally, Necrons.
Oh, Necrons are, I guess, just a single dynasty because that's how they operate. Yeah. They're self-repairing robot skeletons. That's going to freak out humanity, and yeah. I don't think anything we have can damage them at all. I mean, they're from the age of the war in heaven and all that stuff, so.
Yeah. Next question.
This one is by Michael Hamar. I don't know why he struggled. What Chaos God would most likely corrupt Master Chief, a.k.a. John 117?
Khorne. I'd say Khorne.
Yeah, because, I mean, I feel like the others don't really fit him that well, and he's, like, a really strong dude, so Khorne.
Next question.
Star Phytopurer? Any chance that there is a man-bear pig somewhere in the warp? Yeah.
A man-bear pig?
Mm-hmm. Half man, half bear, half pig.
Oh, from Rick and Morty.
Is it in Rick and Morty?
I thought it was.
It's South Park, ain't it?
Oh, yeah. Next question comes from Brian B. Do you think Dante could survive a Primaris upgrade even though he's 1,600 years old?
Yes. His plot armor is strong. Because you gotta sell models. I mean, go ahead.
He's only 1,600?
He's one of the more elderly Space Marines. But yeah, like when you think about it, having a character as important as Dante die during his Primaris upgrade, like how anticlimactic is that? Like he went toe to toe with like the best of the best. He's the second in command of the whole Imperium, and for him to just die to become a Primaris.
Yeah.
Too anticlimactic. The fans would rage if that happened.
Next question comes from Ivan Kirchen. Who would win in a battle between Imperial Knights and Space Marines? It depends, but I would give it most often to the Space Marines. I feel like Space Marines are more, they're at an advantage because it's one of those situations where it's a human with a suit, but it's a superhuman with a suit. So, yeah.
This one's by Defool06. Does the gene seed of Chaos Space Marine still is the is the gene seed of Chaos Space Marine still in its natural or original state, or has it mutated along with the body of the Chaos Space Marines?
It's mutated. You don't want to take chaotic gene seed and use that to like start a chapter or whatever.
Well, what if you're doing it for like Plague Marines? Would you still want to take that gene seed that's corrupted and just keep creating more corrupted?
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, if you are a Plague Marine and your brother dies, you can still take that gene seed and then use it later on. But no loyalist chapter would see like a traitor take their gene seed and then try to use it again, because that gene seed is no good anymore in their eyes, even if there is no physical mutation. And I say that because it happened to the Soul Drinkers, I think it is. They were kind of tricked. The chapter was tricked into siding with Chaos. But because their chapter master did become a chaotic Astarte, none of the gene seed collected from that chapter was ever used again. And it's not like it's traitorous gene seed. It comes from either Rogaldorn or Gilliman, I can't remember. But yeah.
Right, but I mean, knowing that the chapter master has defected to Chaos, that's enough for them to say, whoa, like,
yep,
there might be something wrong with this.
Yeah. Next question comes from Patrick Knight. Do you think the Imperium could replace guardsmen with remote-controlled robots to fight?
Just look back to the...
Men of Iron?
Yeah, the Men of Iron.
Yeah, I don't think the Imperium would do that because it's an extra step. And they're not... it's funny to say this, but I don't think that they're advanced enough to actually... be able to manufacture these robots over and over again, because it's harder to send in a huge army of robots, even if they're not AI, even if they're controlled by somebody else. That technology is still not like, you're gonna have to rebuild that technology, kind of like the Necrons. When you kill a Necron, its body repairs itself, or its thing, like if it's a Overlord, it goes back into the tomb world, and then there's a new body. And they have the advantage of having necrodermis, whereas the Imperium just has like regular metals and stuff like that.
Right.
It's easier to produce babies than it is robots for the Imperium, for the purpose of a war of attrition. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Next one.
Zimmer Noah. Is there a Chaos army that uses hidden run tactics similar to that of the Dark Eldar, either in-game or in the lore? That's because I want to play a Chaos faction, since I like their models, but I prefer this strategy of attack. Yeah, I think the most notable is the Night Lords. Night Lords have like that guerrilla tactics where they come out of nowhere, they hit hard, and then they leave. And then they just do this at random points. Or they do this all at once, kind of like a surprise attack. Hit all key points and then just go back to the darkness. So, Night Lords would fit that strategy.
The last question comes from Tassius. Have you ever played any other 40k game like Battlefleet Gothic, Necromunda, or Gorka Morka? What are your opinions on them? I haven't played any of those specific games. A 40k game that we have played is Kill Team. Kill Team was a lot of fun. It was a nice break. It's quick.
Mm-hmm. You're not moving like hordes and hordes of models.
Yeah. What it does, though, is it does leave you kind of thirsty for those giant epic battles. Mm-hmm. So I would say if you're going to... So with us, if we're going to play Kill Team, it's probably because we're like short on time. Or another reason having to do with time. Mm-hmm. What did you think of Kill Team?
Kill Team was fun. It really like adds personality because you're not looking at a whole army. You're looking at a squad of like 3 guys, 5 guys. You could have, oh, this guy's a sharpshooter because of this thing, or he's the leader and he did this. Instead of saying, oh, my whole army killed a whole legion of Chaos Space Marines or something like that.
Yeah. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. We enjoy answering these questions.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. I'm Sound Alchemist.
Gersh1.
And we are out.
Oh, if you took my freedom